Hello there, my beautiful friends, and welcome to the Duality of Life podcast. We're going to be talking about something a little bit irking today because you're not for everybody, and I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. We don't have to hate ourselves because we're not for everybody. We're all a little bit weird, we're all a little bit strange, we're all a little bit funny, we all value different things, and I'm going to be guiding you through how to figure out your values today, because understanding your values within friendship and relationship, this is where we're going to be putting our focus in, our values within relationships, whether that be romantic or whether that be friendship. I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the friendship aspect than the romantic, sexual, relational partner, but figuring out what you actually truly value inside of relationship will help you recognize that other people value different things, and it's okay to not get along with everyone. Like, it's actually just impossible to do that. I personally am way more comfortable in a dingy bar playing pool or darts with like crazy beer drinking people around me than I am in a classy restaurant where everyone's dressed up in like suits and pretty dresses and like has their makeup done perfectly. Like, I'm much more comfortable around like a campfire than I am wearing a cocktail dress, and that's just okay. Like, I do not have to change myself to be any other way than what I am. And just because one person likes this or the other person likes this or feels more comfortable in this environment than that environment doesn't make anyone higher than or less than. It's just a mode of value, comfortability, and prioritization that make us all different. And I'm gonna cancel out a lot of people being my friends because they're interested in this thing and I'm interested in that thing, and we're probably just not gonna find a lot of common ground to be best friends. And that doesn't mean it can't happen, but I've found that it doesn't happen as easily, and that's okay. Just some people's natural states are different than other people's natural states. It doesn't make one more worthy or less worthy than the other. So I have found myself looping with friendship stuff many a times in my life, and it is, it's very difficult. It's very complex, and I have labeled myself a bad person for like not meeting another person's needs, and I feel like, okay, like they just, want this from me and I don't give it, so then that makes me a bad person, or like I forget things, like I'm a forgetful person, I'm a clumsy person, I sometimes suck at communication, like with like texting, so like long distance friends, like I need friends that know I still love them even if we don't text for a couple months. I'm not kidding. So finding other people that have similar communication styles or patterns to me is a really important thing for our friendship not to die. But if you find yourself in a situation where you are friends with somebody that does have a different value system as you do not have to mold or shape yourself into something different to fit what they want from you. Sometimes you're just not compatible with another person, and that is okay. You do not have to demonize yourself. You do not have to hate yourself. You don't have to justify your actions even. Obviously, if you do something wrong and you believe that you did something wrong, say sorry, have that conversation, and do all of the necessary things that you gotta do. But if you're not intentionally trying to hurt another person, you're just showing up in your authentic way, and that hurts another person, it's not your fault. Like, you're not responsible for everyone else's emotions. And of course, have that conversation when you need to, but you do not have to shapeshift or mold yourself. That actually is just going to take away your energy. It's keeping you disaligned because you continuously are reminding yourself that you have to shape and mold yourself into the version that another person wants from you. And if that's not authentic, then you're just going to drain yourself and not feel good. So like I've said, most of us just have different value systems, and we got to figure out what our value system is. So with the help of ChatGPT, I've come up with a list of 50 words And we're going to narrow that down to our top 5. So the PDF for these 50 words is linked down in the description box, so you can click that and take a peek at the PDF. If you are listening to this solely, I recommend heading over to YouTube and watching this, because I'm going to have visuals up on the screen to show you how I went about doing this, so that way you can replicate the situation in your life. So pull up that PDF. You can either download that and use the tool on your MacBook, for instance, that circles things, or you can drag this PDF into Canva even and start circling things using Canva. Or if you're really feeling old school, write every single one of these words in your notebook and do pen and paper style. There's no judgment. You could also print this page. That would work too. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, we have our 50 words. If you're just listening to this, we've got words like trust and loyalty and compassion and authenticity and reliability, communication, patience, kindness, fun, openness, resilience, mindfulness, tolerance. We've got a bunch of lovely words here, and we're gonna go through and put a 5 to 10 minute timer on and go through this page and just circle every single word that resonates with you. You could circle the whole page if you really want to, but narrow it down a little bit, I recommend. It'll make your life a little bit easier. So I went through, did my circling, and was left with top 30 words about that I really liked. From that top 30 words, I copied all of them, put them into ChatGPT, and asked it, I'll tell you exactly what I said. Out of these words, can you group them based on similarity? So then I put all of those words, the top 30-ish words that I was left with, into ChatGPT, and it grouped them based on similarity. So I had trust, honesty, accountability, fairness, confidentiality, and sincerity all in one group, and then I had a total of 6 groups. I then put those groups onto another page. I was using Canva to do this, and it's honestly probably the best tool to do this. So I put each group then on a page, and then in each group I labeled them 1 to however many words are inside of the group. So 1, 2, 3, ranking them based on their importance inside of each group. You can spend a few minutes just thinking about your life and the situations that you've been through that have really shaped you, to make sure that you're fully encompassing your entire being and maybe not just circling things or numbering things based on one particular situation that you're in this current moment. So just take some time and allow yourself to be in a little bit of a meditative, intuitive self state. Put on some calming music. I'll pop a couple different meditation sounds down in the description box that you can put on while you do this. On step number 2, take about 10 minutes to go through it, or what you could do is put on a 1 to 2 minute timer and do it really intuitively, and just try not to think that deeply. But if you want to spend a little bit more time and be a little bit more intentional, you can put on a 10-minute timer and go through that. And then once you have each group, every single word labeled from most to least important, we're going to take all of the number 1s from each group and put them into a group. So every single word that you labeled in the previous exercise as number 1, the most important inside of each similar word group, you're going to now put in a group. So for instance, I had sincerity, vulnerability, authenticity, optimism, encouragement, and humor, all labeled as number 1 from my 6 groups. Group number 2 is all of the things that you labeled number 2. Group number 3 is all of the things that you labeled number 3. And just go through that list that you've just created and cross some words out. Spend 3 to 5 minutes just thinking about these words and be like, this just doesn't resonate with me anymore. I feel like I can cross this out. This probably isn't going to be my top 5 value. It's not that it doesn't mean something to me. It's just not it. So go through, cross as many as you can out, don't overthink it. After I did that, I was left with a group of about 17 words. You can get this down to 10 to 15 would be ideal. And now put all of those words that you have left onto another page and separate them into 2 different boxes. So box 1 is like the most important to you, and then box 2 is the secondary box. Doesn't mean box 2 isn't important, doesn't mean you don't value them. They just don't feel as in alignment to you. And some of the words may even be similar or may even feel more comprehensive. So for instance, I put humor into my box 1. Humor and fun, pretty similar. I value having fun with people. So let's just put fun in box 2 and put humor in box 1. Acceptance. I like acceptance because I feel like it encompasses a little bit more for what I'm looking for. So let's put that in box 1 and put openness in box 2. Openness is great. It's very much similar to the acceptance, but it doesn't feel as comprehensive as acceptance. So just put them in separate boxes, box 1, box 2, box 1 being most important, and maybe you're left with 5 words. Maybe you're left with 7 words in box 1. Go through, if you're left with more than 5, go through and label them from least important or most important to least important. And then from there, you'll have top 5. So for me, my top 5 was vulnerability, authenticity, humor, honesty, and acceptance. This whole practice should take about 30 minutes, plus minus, depending on some PDF download situations, Canva situations. But all in all, to actually go through the lists and dedicate some time and thoroughly look over each word and weigh all of our life challenges out should take us about 30 minutes to get our top 5 values. So like I've already touched on, this is important to recognize because maybe somebody's top 5 value is consistency. Maybe that is not even in your secondary category. Consistency isn't even on the category of number 2. It doesn't make you a bad person for being inconsistent. It just means you value different things or prioritize different things. Maybe somebody's top value is dependability. That's not even on your radar. You don't really care that much. It doesn't make you a bad person for being a little flaky sometimes or for being a little airy-fairy sometimes, and vice versa. Maybe humor isn't on somebody's radar at all. That's not an important thing inside of friendship or relationship. That's not in their top 5 values or in their secondary category. It doesn't mean they don't like it. It doesn't mean somebody can't be dependable or can't be consistent or can't grow that skill. But if it's just not in your top 5 values, that is okay. You don't have to shift and mold yourself. You can put in practices that help you become more consistent or become more dependable, or maybe you learn to let your guard down a little bit and go to some comedy shows and enjoy some humor. Whatever it is, knowing your top 5 values is such a valuable thing, because when you notice somebody has a different value system, you do not have to blame yourself for that. We just have different value systems. And so maybe somebody having a hard time with openness is not trying to not tell you things. They just don't value it as much. They have a little bit more confidentiality that they value. Doesn't make them a bad person for not telling you the full story or for not opening up the entire way or not, sharing everything all at once. Sometimes confidentiality is just somebody's top 5 value, and it doesn't make them a bad person for keeping things confidential. Moral of the story is we just are all a little bit different weirdos. We're all just a little bit of different human weirdos, and that's great. And I love that for everybody. But you can find people that have similar value systems to you. They do exist. They're out there. There are people that have similar value systems to you, and you're probably going to get along well with them. You're probably going to find somebody, if you value reliability and somebody else is really reliable and they're showing up on time and they're never late, and that makes you feel good, you value the same things, that is great. You're going to be friends. I love that for you. Somebody's a little more flaky, somebody's a little more up in the air, somebody's a little bit more all over the place. They're probably going to be friends with people that are also like that, or value similar things in different elements, and maybe you guys can help each other. Maybe one person needs to be, let loose a little bit more, and the other person needs to be reined in a little bit more. But okay, let's talk coping mechanisms. So when we are in the depths of human relationships and we're having a hard time with whatever it is, whether that be friendship or romantic, we need to have coping mechanisms. So that way we do not spiral in hatred or to the other person or towards ourselves. Boundary setting. I know it's a basic thing that everybody talks about, and it's like this high thing in the spiritual space, and everyone's setting boundaries and being a perfect human being of boundary setting, and I put myself first and like all of it. Okay, well, actually recognizing where your boundaries need to be set does stem from your value system. So once you understand what you value, you can understand why maybe you get angry in certain situations or why you feel hurt in certain situations. So you need to set boundaries. It doesn't mean that another person is a bad person or doesn't care about you or doesn't, want to be your friend or want to be in your life if they don't or can't fully respect your boundaries. Boundaries are not on the other person. And this is something that I really love that is not talked about as much as it should be. It is not up to the other person to respect your boundaries. It is up to you to respect your boundaries. So if you know where your boundary is and you have a hard time with reliability when somebody else is inconsistent, and if it's a real problem for you, then maybe you're just not fully compatible as friends. And to make somebody else feel really bad about being late every single time that they're late, maybe it's just not even worth your time or your energy to do that. And probably makes the other person feel bad as well because they're probably just trying their best. Or maybe you really value alone time and the person that you want in your life doesn't care as much for alone time. Like they don't need that necessarily. Putting that boundary up is on you to create that separation, to create that space. So, setting boundaries could look anything from like, I love to spend time with you, but I also need an hour of alone time each evening to recharge. If you do not take charge of the recharge time, if you do not tell them, okay, like, I'm going to go to bed in an hour. I really need this hour to just unwind for myself. I love you. I want to keep spending time with you, but I know if I don't do this, I'm going to not feel great tomorrow, or I'm going to feel really anxious the next day, or whatever the thing is. You need to take charge of that recharge time. You need to put the boundary up, understanding where your boundaries lie and being the person that implements them and not putting other people in charge of respecting them is something to really think about. All right. So now we're going to move on to self-compassion. We all need some self-compassion. We all need a little hug from ourselves. We all need a little self-cuddle. We all need a little face massage from ourselves, or a little neck massage from ourselves, Notice where the ache is. Why does that thing hurt you? Where is that ache? Why are we feeling this way after somebody doesn't show up on time, or somebody keeps on touching you even though you don't like to be touched, or whatever the case is? Why is that ache there? Why are we feeling that way? Why are we feeling anxious during this situation? Noticing that it's there, validating yourself, understanding it's okay that you have this ache. It's okay that this previous situation or life experience gave you this uncomfortable feeling in certain circumstances. It is so okay. Validate yourself. You don't have to wish it away or wish yourself to be different. Notice the ache. Give yourself some soft words of encouragement. Tell yourself that it's okay, that that past experience made you feel this way, and now it's, still a repetitive thing inside of your life. It's okay. Remember that we all hurt. So just because somebody is really touchy-feely and they don't have a problem with being touched or surprise human connection of bodily function and you do, doesn't make you less healed or less evolved than them. They have their own aches. They have their own hurts. It's just in a different place than you. Now maybe we need to implement some visualization, affirmation, meditation time for ourselves, because taking some time for yourself to calm your nervous system and to get out of a thought loop that you're in or that difficult situation that you are going through, giving yourself the space and the time of reinforcement of positivity and self-love is really valuable. So if you're visualizing something, seeing a door closing, that no or that repetitive boundary being crossed, that door being closed, and immediately spotting a second door opening or labeled something or somebody more aligned. Or finding some affirmations that really resonate with you. Every no in love or friendship points me closer to somebody right for me. Or literally just popping on like a 20-minute meditation that you find on YouTube to really center yourself again and bring yourself back to a calm place. Something else that could be really helpful, and it's also a little bit more interactive in situations, is a 60-second mindfulness routine to soothe that inner criticism or thought looping when something does make you uncomfortable or when you notice that ache. So again, we're going to notice that pain, we're going to name that emotion, and we're going to offer ourselves kindness. Reminding ourselves that it's okay to feel the way that we do. There's a reason. We're not crazy. We're not overreacting. It's okay. And then ground ourselves in that shared humility. So like I said, in self-compassion, we're noticing the ache. We're having soft words towards ourselves, and we're remembering that everyone has feelings and hurts sometimes. We're not alone. And so this 60-second mindfulness routine is great for when something hurts you in the moment. So you notice that something somebody said or something somebody did really hurt you, and instead of going down a crazy thought loop that's going to last an hour or two or a day or a week, take 60 seconds, put a 60-second timer on right in front of you. Put your hand on your heart or your stomach. You can even give yourself a hug and move through these steps. Ouch. That hurt. That didn't feel great. Name that emotion, whether it be rejection, disappointment, anger, jealousy, whatever that emotion is, name it. Remind ourselves why we're feeling that way, whether it be a past situation, experience that we've went through, or just literal humanness. It's okay to feel that emotion. Give ourselves those soft words of encouragement. It's okay to feel this way. I'm allowed to feel this way. And you also deserve to move through your emotions. You deserve to take the 60 seconds for yourself and give yourself the time to move through that emotion. And after all of that, we're reminding ourselves that everyone else is human too. And it's okay to be human. So I really, really hope that this exercise of figuring out your values really emphasizes the fact that it's okay to be your unique self and value particular things, and it doesn't make the other things on the list not important or you don't resonate with them, it just means that there's 5 that really feel important to you, that really feel like you actually couldn't have a friendship otherwise. And it's okay that another person has a different 5. It just might mean you're not all that compatible. So send this episode to your friends, figure out what your friends' top 5 values are, and enjoy after you find your top 5 words, what you're going to do is ask ChatGPT, based on these words being my top 5 values, what can you tell about me? And then copy paste those 5 words and then let ChatGPT say some nice things to you. Send this episode to your friends, find out their top 5 values, and also enjoy what nice things ChatGPT says about them as well. It's always nice when a robot says nice things about us, eh? We like this. Cheers to that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and if you'd like a free gift, then what you can do is screenshot the subscribe button on YouTube, send that to me via email at thedualityoflifepodcast@gmail.com, subject line free gift, and I will then send you a free gift of an abundance activation. If you don't have YouTube, otherwise, head over to Spotify or Apple, rate the podcast 5 stars, screenshot that 5-star review, and send that to me at thedualityoflifepodcast@gmail.com as well, and I'll send you that free gift. So I hope you enjoyed figuring out your values and figuring out your friends' values as well. Sending you so much love, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.